Get started. Thank you, Courtney. So hello, hi, my name is Ellen Haas. I'm the Associate Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs with the American Association of Community Colleges. And I thank you for joining us, our webinar today on the Community College Innovation Challenge and why your students should apply. We thank you so much for joining us. We have a couple of our panelists running from other meetings. So I want to introduce who we have on right now and who will be joining us momentarily. I have my associate Courtney Larson, who's the program manager for the Advanced Technological Education program for AACC, and she's a primary contact on this event and the boot camp. So any questions that come up during our presentation, our discussion, feel free to put into chat and follow up with us following the event. We're very happy to engage with you about this opportunity. And here with us is Latasha Starr, who is an engineering professor with Dallas College in Texas. And she's also was one of our mentors, team mentors for a 2024 finalist team. And two other mentors for 2024 teams, Jana Blum, Associate Professor of Chemistry with Perimeter College at Georgia State University, and Chris Dennis, who I believe is a three-time repeat mentor since we've been running this competition since 2015. He is an assistant professor of engineering technology with Columbus State Community College, and they will be popping on momentarily. But thank you, Latasha, for being here, and Courtney for all your support. As I said, please feel free to input items into chat before we turn to the panelist portion of the event. But before we do that, I did want to give you some background about the competition. So this is run in partnership. AACC runs this in partnership with the National Science Foundation. As I mentioned, we've held this competition with them since 2015. We took a break in 2019 due to some transitions, and then 2020. Obviously, we didn't hold an event that year. We were virtual in 2021, and we've been rolling since then in person. So we're very excited to engage with you for the 2025 CCIC. So this is a competition where we invite teams of 2 to 4 community college students working with a faculty or an administrative team member to come up with a STEM-based solution to a problem that the students identify. So this is the problem that the students identify, a solution that they identify. They apply for the competition, and we select up to 12 finalist teams to attend an innovation boot camp. That's in Washington, D.C. This year it'll be held June 9 through 12. And that boot camp provides professional development, mentoring, coaching designed to build strategic communication and entrepreneurial skills to help students advance their innovations. So students participate in sessions such as commercializing ideas, understanding value proposition, and communicating with stakeholders. And it's really designed to enable students to discover and demonstrate their capacity to use STEM to make a difference in the world and to translate that knowledge into action. So through the boot camp, teams will interact with entrepreneurs and experts and industry professionals, and it culminates in 2 events, a poster session and reception on Capitol Hill with congressional and STEM stakeholders, and a pitch competition, sort of along the line of Shark Tank, but much friendlier, 5-minute pitch competition in front of industry and entrepreneur judges. And it's those 2 events after kind of a week of training and engagement that determine the first, second, and third place winning teams. So in terms of what you receive for doing this and supporting students in this competition, all the finalists receive a plaque as well as bragging rights that they've been finalists in a national competition. Certificates go to all team members. And probably most importantly, we provide full travel support for all finalist team members, including the faculty or the administrative team member that accompanies the team. So we cover those travel costs. We also issue everyone a $500 cash honorarium for being a finalist. We realize that's a nominal amount, but it goes to hopefully offset being away from campus for a little bit. And then cash awards, additional cash awards are given to each first, second, and third place team member. Again, and that includes the faculty or the administrator or mentor. So first place receives, each team member receives $3,000, second place $2,000, and third place $1,000. So that's some nice cash incentive, and there's no restrictions on how the students can use those award or prize monies. Just a few pictures of engagement. I think our mentors, which we'll get to momentarily, can talk about how not only the value of the network of engaging with other teams from across the country, but the stakeholders and the instructors that come in to engage with them. And just some pictures of interaction from the table level in the boot camp. It's also something we really strive to make very supportive for our students and create a community for them as well. So just kind of give you the mechanics of this. Again, teams of faculty or administrative mentor apply. We do encourage interdisciplinary teams. So your solution needs to be STEM based, but not everyone on your team needs to have a STEM background. Some of the strongest teams have combined the STEM students with, business or humanities. And again, it's the students develop a STEM solution to a real world problem they identify. For many students, it's a very a personal connection. And then as part of the application process, they're asked to submit a written entry and a 90-second video that addresses the problem. And so it gives some background and context to the problem they've identified, the solution and the science and technology that informs it, its impacts and its benefits on society, and a video that tells a compelling story about how what the team is doing is innovative or unique in addressing the problem. On the challenge website, on our resources tab, we have links to the finalist videos for the last 3 years. So you can get a sense of the breadth of the innovations that have been selected as finalists, as well as see how the videos are put together. They don't need to be edited in an editing suite. We've had some just do very great videos on phones, but it is just the messaging that the judges are looking at for that. The website also has the complete guidelines. I do want to note that the team is not required to have already implemented their innovation or have a working prototype. Some do, and that's certainly great. That this competition is really in that ideation phase and looking at how that innovation would be implemented in a real world scenario. So again, it's the competition's designed to get students to think about themselves as entrepreneurs with an invention, a creation, a product that they're hoping to bring to the marketplace. Let's see. So how these entries are selected or vetted, they are evaluated by members of AACC staff and community college faculty that with STEM backgrounds, and some NSF program directors look at these, and they're looking at the innovation and impact. So they're assessing the proposed solutions use of STEM to address the problem and to be transformative. The feasibility, so the likelihood that it could work is presented and be replicated, and also that the team is acknowledging potential barriers or ways they could address those barriers, and clarity of communication, that they've complied with all guidelines and have organized their facts and their data and have clear and consistent messaging. So from these narrative applications, and again, these are not super robust. We're not asking for pages and pages. In fact, they have to be pretty succinct in addressing the problems of the solution and information about their innovation. We select 12 finalist teams to attend the boot camp, again, June 9 through 12 in Washington, D.C. Just a sense of our timeline, the applications are open now on the website. Submissions are due April 3rd. By late April, we have notified the teams. There is a little bit of pre-work to be done. And that's probably the piece that our mentors can speak to as well in terms of helping to prepare the students to attend. They have an orientation webinar, and then a week later, they have a customer discovery webinar where they really start to dig into this process, and they're tasked with doing some interviews of stakeholders before they come to the boot camp itself. The boot camp, again, June 9th through 12th. And then at the end of the boot camp in real time, we announce the first, second, and third place winners. Here's all of our teams from 2024 after the student poster session. Again, I'll turn to our panelists just momentarily, and hopefully Chris is popping on here soon. But again, do check out the website, see the innovations that have come before. I'm sure our faculty here will be happy to talk about what their students came up with. But in the last competition alone, We had innovations that address clean water, renewable energy, women's health issues, HIV treatment, fire prevention, and assistive technology devices. And that's, we've if it's STEM based, it can span whatever programs from local to global concern that the students are interested in finding a solution for that benefits society. That being said, the URL is on the screen. The email is here, and I can also ask Courtney to put it in chat. And I'd like to now stop screen sharing and turn to our panelists and have a little dialogue and then see if there are any questions. So again, thank you for being here. And I saw Jana did join us. Thank you. So I guess we'll start. I know, Latasha, you might have to jump off. So we're going to have a rotation of faculty and administrators because, again, we realize everyone's time is tight these days. But let's talk about, Latasha, how did you get involved with the CCIC and the student team that you mentored?
So thanks for the opportunity to speak to everyone today and motivate more applicants for this amazing competitive venture. So for part of the motivation, honestly, is the fact that out of all the Texas community colleges that have participated in the past, so San Antonio, Houston, Austin, even Tarrant County, Dallas College had never participated. So part of our motivation was just, let's see if we can get on the map. I mean, we have to have a presence here. What is going on? We got to complete the Texas takeover. So that was part of the motivation. Also, the fact that I had been tied to AACC as a community college professor anyway, a lot of the events that they hold throughout the year as a faculty member, I had already kind of been connected, but I wanted my students to now become connected in a more tangible way and really showcase some of the things we have been working on in class. So as an engineering professor, for the students who participated or who I mentored, it was really interesting to see the classroom, meet the competitive stage, right? And so just to take these things that I'm teaching, I'm like, am I really teaching some good stuff? Is it competitive worthy? And so to really kind of see the hands-on things we work on in class and the principles from Python to engineering design, the engineering design process, to really see that come alive and in front of the nation, right? At the nation's capital, that was just the cherry on top. So I think it was part motivation to really give my students a voice, right? They have the hands-on capability, the technical skills, but this is an opportunity for them to showcase their true talents and to develop those talents further in a competitive environment, right? And so they're used to competing against their classmates on different things, but now to compete against America or all of the community colleges, the 12 best community colleges in America, it really took things to the next level. And it's not only is it a resume builder, but it's a confidence builder. And they are able to hold their head up high and say, we were not only one of the 12, but we actually placed for our first time showing up. So go Dallas College.
Yeah. Jana, do you also want to follow up and talk about how you got engaged with your team and with the Community College Innovation Challenge? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Classic online behavior. No,
we're all so used to it.
So my name is Jana Blom. I am a faculty member, chemistry professor at Perimeter College in Atlanta, Georgia. And for me, the CCIC was a very new thing. We had a Perimeter team go to the CCIC maybe the third or fourth year that it was done, but we hadn't had a team since. And I run a program, the MESA program at Perimeter College. And I had a group of students, the person who had gone before, every year he just sends the flyer out, and those students got it in his calculus class, and they thought, oh, we have an idea for something that we want to do. They had been mulling this idea around, talking between them. They were recently turning 21. Our project was looking at pap smear exams. They were very hesitant about that. And then they started coming up with their idea on how they wanted to do that. So that was kind of like an independent thought before they saw the CCIC flyer, and they're like, hey, this looks something that we want to try for. These students come from different majors. They are all just MESA's students in my program, and then they approached me with their idea and asked me to be a mentor for them. So very grassroots. I feel like it was very student driven. They had an idea, they wanted to showcase it, and they wanted to challenge themselves with this opportunity. We went into it very like, we'll give it a go. And I was all new, we were all new, we were all newbies. And so, yeah, that was really how we got involved in it, our particular team. So we did have some experience, like I said, with the CCIC before, but it was really just continuously sharing that flyer, and this one particular team took the bite, if it were. So I guess that's really our beginnings, and I can speak later to kind of the impact of the program and some of the other questions.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you to the mentors and administrators that support these teams and make it possible. And Chris, I just saw that you joined us.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, please. I think we all get it. Everybody's running.
Okay, thank you.
I was just saying that I believe you're a 3-time mentor, but we're talking about, we're just a little bit about how you got involved, how your students got involved, and then we're going to transition into, you know, the impact on the students and on you all. But if you would mind sharing how Columbus State got involved in this competition, or your last, your team in 2024 engaged. Did you engage with them? Did they engage with you? We see that a lot of the times it's student driven or grassroots, and sometimes it's the faculty member that goes to the students and say, hey, you should think about this competition.
It's a good time to ask this question because we're actually reaching out to students right now. So the way we do it is there's a department at the college, and there's a lady named Kaylor. She is usually the administration mentor. And then I, for the last 4 years, and I think I'm going to do it again this year, have been the faculty mentor. Now, mostly what the administration member will do is first they'll send out the blast and email to all the students to let them know that this is coming. And then based on how many responses we get, that will decide how many teams we put together. If there was going to be each faculty member, I'm only would be with one team. But the administration mentor will help the students. Anything from, maybe helping them retrieve some technical data, clear to she got these, the guys who went 2 years ago didn't have suit jackets. So she went and bought them suit jackets to wear. So she kind of handled everything. I handled the project and making sure that we were getting closer to the end and meeting all the due dates. I handled that, but the administration handled all the kind of things outside of the project, supplies, dinners, making sure they had the right clothes, making travel arrangements, all those kind of things.
That's wonderful that you've got the administrative support there as well.
Yes.
Because I know it varies between where it's the sole faculty member really supporting the team versus it's a more robust effort. So
I don't know if I'm going to have that this year. For the first time, she told me I'm kind of tapped out. If you want to do it this year, you're going to have to do it. So I'm going to do it.
Yay!
Yes. Yes.
We appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go back to Latasha because I know you might have to get off sooner too. But I think, it's kind of a little bit of a 2-part question, because now that you've attended, I'd like you to talk a little bit about the impact on the students, and then let's talk the practical. How does faculty fit this into their schedule on top of everything else they're doing? But hopefully we can start with the really good and the why before the how. So if you want to talk a little bit about impact first.
Okay, yeah, great. So let's just, state the obvious. You're bringing the students to DC. Some have never left their state.
Mm-hmm.
So to go to the nation's capital and, to stay in a nice hotel and, it's just from start to finish. We're just, especially the students I serve, we're talking about students who may not have had an opportunity to be on an airplane we're talking about students' first time on an airplane. Let's just, you know, start there. So already you're letting them know they're special. Well, you're reinforcing what I tell them every day, but you're saying, hey, you have something to offer the nation. You have something to, so you're allowing them to see themselves as having impact, and therefore you're having impact on them. And so I think that is the magic of it all. It's just a moment where they're removed from their normal environment, and then they really get to focus. Like, you don't have to do schoolwork at this time, it's summer break. All you get to do is just focus on your creativity and your craft. And those two things together kind of just turns on that light bulb and says, well, maybe the fact that they recognize me, maybe I can finally recognize what's inside of me and really bring that out and allow that to shine, where I don't have to worry about anything else. I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna get there, what I'm gonna eat when I'm there. They take care of y'all from beginning to end, right? So with that type of confidence boost, I mean, I saw parts of my students that I hadn't even seen before, and I see them every day. So I was like, whoa, I didn't know you had that type of swag, you know? So it was really nice to kind of see them relax and really get in their element and focus on their craft and allow their creativity to shine. So I think that's the first impact. And then if that was enough, now at the poster presentation on Capitol Hill, you have stakeholders throughout the STEM world and congressmen and government officials coming in and saying, now that's a good idea. So now they're getting confidence on top of confidence on top of confidence. And so this layer, so by the time they leave, whether they want or not, you can't tell them nothing. They're just like, we're going to continue this, and we're the greatest thing since sliced bread. So, and I'm like, yep, sure are. And so it's amazing though, that impact is long lasting. So even after this last competition, my students we're still in touch. And now they're in the patent process, right? So they're just like, we can move on, we can keep going. So that spark that you ignite in that moment, Ellen, it's just truly life-changing, and it's long lasting. And now our particular project was wildfires, by the way. So they took a drone and modified this UAV to be completely decked out with all kind of sensors and monitoring systems that help firefighters fight fires, especially in rural areas. And here we are, like, 8 months later, and we're seeing all these wildfires on TV. And the students are calling me like, Professor, we were onto something. And I'm like, yes, you were. And that all starts with this opportunity. And again, now they have the motivation outside of their classes, outside of their normal workload, to then still work on this topic because you said it was important. And now the nation knows it's important. And so that's the impact. Now to faculty members, it's a lot. on top of everything we already do, no administrative assistant here, but that's okay, Chris. We're going to help each other. I think it's a lot, but at the end of the day, the students thriving is your reward. So it's kind of like, it's just nice to kind of see all of your efforts, and again, all the things you've taught them in class. And then you see a little of the communication come out, like, yeah, in addition to engineering, I kind of said, hey, this is how you should speak. This is how you should pitch. This is how you should present. So you see a little entrepreneur come in. You're like, okay, so they're actually were listening to me. So I feel like it's rewarding, and that helps overcome a lot of the faculty time consuming. So it's real, it's a thing, right? I'm not going to deny, but there's some the reward you get helps you surpass it truly surpasses any of the inconvenience. But you guys, Ellen, Courtney, you guys are there to help us if we have any questions, so we're not out there on the island by ourselves. So if you have the will, then you're able to do it, because there's a lot of support to help you along the way.
Thank you for that. Jana, do you want to add anything in terms of, your impressions of the boot camp and the impact on your students? And then you, as I said, as a faculty member taking this on, knowing that it is a bit of a lift on top of everything else you already do, and how you've managed that.
So I'll start a little bit. Our team's project was developing an at-home pap smear exam to reach more women, to increase availability and access to cervical cancer screening. And I mean, I'll say this to start. Our team, if you want to know impact, this morning, I got an email from the 3 students who came, and they told me that they just filed their provisional patent on the device. today. So they sent me their patent write-up and everything.
Awesome.
That I don't think that would have happened without this experience. This experience gave them confidence, the drive that says, yes, I can be an entrepreneur. Yes, I can do this. Maybe it's not absolutely perfectly designed yet, but we can put this out there and we can start modifying it and taking feedback and getting that customer feedback. And it really set all those wheels into motion to get them to this point. The 3 girls are now at 3 different colleges in the area. They've all transferred from Perimeter, but they are still interconnected. They formed a LLC for the company. All these things, they got the skill set and the confidence and the know-how to go about doing this, and the connections, whether it was through Grant Warner, who really helped us make connections within Georgia State that would help them work on their patent and help them get all the resources that they needed, how to get free legal support for putting this together. So, I mean, the impact is huge. I mean, not just on their personal growth and their ability to be entrepreneurs, not only on this project, but they have other ideas now that they're like, oh, if I can do it for this, maybe we can start to tackle this area or some other area. And it really helped them take action on this idea that was 3 students talking about the arcane nature that is women's health and how they can make a difference. But it puts them on the national stage, and I echo everything that Latasha said, that it makes you feel like you belong. What more feeling could you feel that you belong when you're sitting on Capitol Hill? Even I was like in awe, like, I cannot believe this is me. And having senators and representatives and staff coming around from your, Georgia constituency, from Hank Johnson's office or from John Ossoff's office or Warnock's office. We got a letter from Raphael Warnock when we returned saying that we represented the best of Georgia. I mean, it's just amazing. And I mean, the impact on the faculty, it just goes without saying. This is why we do what I do. I will put in the extra hours. I will do whatever it's going to take to help to see the success. So, I mean, I can't gush on and on about how amazing it was. And you made it work. I am lucky in my job. I don't teach in the summer. So the way my job is structured, because I've run the engineering science achievement program, I have summers that are paid through that program. So I'm here to support that program. And of course, these students came from that program. So this is all kind of built into the success of my role in addition to my classroom teaching. So I wouldn't say it was a major reach for me to support these students through this process. I think I had to give up some of my Memorial Day vacation ideas to work on developing the poster with the students, but I would do it again in a heartbeat if I could.
Thank you for that. Wow, you guys are making this easy. Is what you're relaying. And this is Courtney and I, it's our favorite competition for this reason, just the impact of the students and to be able to see it throughout the course of the week. And also the dedication and the inspiration that comes from the faculty and the administrators that support them. Chris, there's actually a question to you in chat, since you do a broad kind of outreach through Columbus State and have some administrative support for the program. There was a question on how do you determine if a potential project meets the level required for competition? So do you do a vetting process at Columbus State? And this actually leads to a question, because a single college could only submit 3 applications to CCIC. So we have some that want to give us 20, and we do ask you if you've got that many teams engaged, which is wonderful, but we do ask you to vet and only put your top 3 forward, knowing that only 1 would be selected for the finalists. So that's the only caveat. You end up being a little bit in competition with yourselves, but we don't ask you to, you can still put in 3, and sometimes they're in different discipline areas. They don't have to be in, they're usually across the board. But what does Columbus State do to determine the level of the project?
Well, I don't know, I wouldn't call this lucky, but the most we've ever had for applicants was 4. So we've never had to try to put together more than one team. But when we send out the blast email, then we'll get the responses of the students back, and we'll get them together, and we'll tell them about the competition, and we'll tell them we want you to get together. We don't want to feed you with the ideas. We want you to have the ideas. So they get together and they decide a topic they'd like to handle. And then they get back with us, the mentors, and we think about, is this realistic? Is this I'll tell you what it was. One of our team members last year is from Bangladesh, and where he comes from, it's not easy to access clean water. So it was his idea. There were a few ideas, but when he presented his idea, the whole team kind of jumped on. Now, we took that idea and we applied to CCIC with that idea, but it went through several iterations of their original idea, clean water or not, or letting people know when water's not clean, was their real desire. And they got really passionate about it. Now, sometimes some of the ideas they had weren't necessarily realistic, and the faculty member has to tell them, well, I'm not telling you that that's a bad idea. What I'm telling you is let's refine it a little bit, because not only do we have to present it, not only does it have to be realistic, but also we have to make sure that there's enough information out there to gather to create an argument for this. So what I would say is vet the ideas for these criteria. Will it have an impact on the group there at CCIC? Like, is it an inspirational, realistic type? And the second one would be, is it realistic? And the third one would be, is there enough information in this group? Do we have specialty enough to come up with realistic countermeasures to the problems? So I guess that's how we looked at it. We don't have a set process. So that was kind of from the hip. That's how we do it.
Oh, thank you for that. And then this was kind of a follow-up to that. So, that's a way of vetting them. But somebody asked generally, and I'll go to you, Jana, and then back to Chris, because I think Latasha had to leave to go to a meeting. But so just in general, how do you motivate the students to get engaged and to get started? Because obviously there's the motivation to even apply, and then after that, as we know, there's preparing a poster and doing some interviews and getting ready for a week of professional development, essentially. So how do you get them engaged and get ready to get started, keep them on track? So Chris, since you're on, why don't we go with you, and then I'll pivot to Jana to address.
I'm glad I kind of wanted this question, because really the first year, I don't remember how we motivated them, maybe because it was new. But after I went to that CCIC event in Washington, D.C., I have no problem now motivating the students, because it's such an impactful, and people say these things all the time just to promote an event, but I'm being sincere here. This event is impactful, not only for the students, impactful for me. The two ladies that we're speaking to, I met with them last year. I know them, both of them. We get to meet each other, and it's the way Ellen and Courtney and whoever else is involved with this. I mean, it is the best event I've ever went to. The person who runs it, who runs the mic, I can't remember his name right now. He works for Temple University. He's amazing. He's amazing. And everybody, it's just, I can't stress to you enough how impactful it is. And this is exactly the way I speak to the students. So when they hear this, they're motivated. They want to get to DC so they can have this experience. So that's how we motivate.
Thank you. And Jana.
everything he said, again, like our first year was last year, this was really grassroots. Like we had a pandemic and everything. Nobody remembers the first time except the one faculty member, who was like, it was amazing. But that didn't really like get to the students until these students, like I said, they took the bite. He went fishing and they took the bite. Now, our environment today, we now have a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship, which is a new office at Perimeter College. And I mean, the students are just excited to get involved in entrepreneurship. They're excited by the students who came back from the competition. They also are like, well, is this a winning project, Dr. Blum? Winning? Like, I don't know. It's it's just the students are really excited, and we want to keep this energy going, because it's one thing for a faculty member to say, hey, do this. This is really good and really useful for you to do. But when students tell other students to do it, that's the nice thing about having a program like Mesa here too. There's a lot of interconnection between the students, talking to other students, that they're excited and they want to know if their idea could win. That's all. I said, it's not like we had a different focus last year, when we came. So the students motivating other students. And now this year we had our own internal like pitch competition. So we've done trainings and things to help, get them in that entrepreneurship mindset. So that's a new program this year that is keeping the students engaged. So we hope to keep the momentum. We're now recruiting to see what students are looking to apply, and reaching out, but I don't think we're having to pull hairs or pull, we're not trying to pull at them to do it. They want to do this. They've heard from our students that came back how amazing it was. And I have a comment in my notes. It's so much better than you can even imagine.
It is.
It like expectations were like here and things I've done in my career and life. And I mean, just off the charts. Y'all are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
I really don't want everybody else to, because now we might not get a spot.
As the applications increase, right?
Yeah. But she's exactly right. It's way up here. It is. And I wanted to say something that not only, I hope I didn't interrupt. If I did, I'm very sorry. But
Not at all.
the prize money and the trip to DC are pretty good motivators also.
Yeah, we try to motivate at least with the travel support and a little bit of, financial honorarium, and then obviously the motivation of winning first, second, and third. But knowing that all the finalist teams are in fact winners and get a lot out of being there, the training that they receive. This is modeled on NSF's I-Corps program, which is teaching strategic communication and entrepreneurial skills to scientists and researchers to get what's in the lab out into the marketplace, into society. So we are modeled on that. We have I-Corps instructors. We have someone come in from the U.S. Patent Office, talk about IP. We have strategic communication firms come in and really talk to you about how do you translate this idea. So the science and the technology is vetted in the application stage. And then it's how do you talk about that? And so that's always an interesting thing for the students when they attend. If they come thinking it's a science boot camp, it is not. It is communications and business, and really having you think about that. So these are skills that translate well beyond the classroom into their careers. And I think you can attest, you've been attesting to how it's personally impacted you as faculty, and we do a little bit of programming for faculty and administrators as well, but it really is seeing that with the students. There was a question in chat I just did want to quickly address that was focused on, have we thought about combining with 4 years? For this competition, it is focused on 2 years. The genesis of this came from the National Science Foundation, where they saw that community colleges did not have a place at the STEM innovation table. There were not competitions targeting 2 years. So it was intentionally designed for 2-year students to engage in this type of competition. So it's not that we haven't thought about it, it's just that it was designed. There are a dearth of competitions focused on 4-year, and there was not a lot in this space at the 2-year level. So it wasn't intentional to focus on 2 years, but perhaps a 2 or 3.0 of this could involve more, more partnerships. But for right now, it is focused on the 2-year institution and elevating those students, giving them a voice. They take those skills with them to the 4-year institutions, and many of them continue on in this. We know some that have started LLCs, some who have stayed in touch, some who have taken pieces of these projects and grown them into other things. So they have all the building blocks to do that. I guess I know we're winding up on time, so I guess I wanted to ask our mentors and then see if there were any other questions. Like, you talked about the impact on students, on yourselves, and on how to engage, but I guess what one piece of advice or guidance do you have for those that are looking to assemble teams or encourage students to apply? Chris, I'll go with you.
Okay. Looking to encourage, how do you encourage students? I think for me, the keys are don't let them, I don't want it to sound like I had to make them do things, because I did it because they had passion for the project. Like, we had a member in our group, in his life, it was not easy to come across clean drinking water. So they were tied, at least one member was tied emotionally to this idea. After that, I would say regular meetings. Once you've got your team members, I don't think it's good to meet every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, because you need to keep them every week. They need to hit milestones, and you need to have that regular meeting time, and I like to do it in person. And I know a lot of people don't do that anymore, but what we would do is get pizza, and we would meet and have a little bit of a pizza, a working dinner. And we would set it up. We did it sometimes on Saturdays, so that they didn't have class and they didn't have any other competing priorities. We wanted them to be here. So we'd have them come down here to campus on Saturdays. We did it sometimes during the week. I don't want to meet, and we even had a few virtual meetings, but most of our meetings were in person on a Saturday. And just make sure that they're meeting regularly and they're meeting milestones. We've really never had any problems keeping them motivated, though. I think you'll be surprised when you explain the process and everything. That just gets them motivated to succeed. And it even gets more intense the day they arrive at in Washington, D.C. I was so surprised. These kids are meeting in the evenings. They're coming home from dinner and working in hotel rooms on pitch presentations and elevator pitch. And it doesn't take a lot of motivation, honestly. And I think the key to that is making sure that someone in the group has an emotional connection to the idea.
Thank you for that. And that's something we definitely see translated when they do their pitches. And
Yeah.
they put there's the passion. It's typically someone's passion project, or someone's very engaged in the problem and the solution.
Yes.
Jana, did you want to add to that in terms of, a piece of guidance to those that are looking to encourage teams to apply?
Yeah, I was just saying that just reinforce the concept that they belong. Reinforce it over and over. They have unique ideas with unique perspectives that are good in quality and should be shared. I think there's a lot of self-doubt, especially in community college students, that yeah, okay, maybe, or there's not a lot, and just keep pushing them that they're doing the right thing here. I know that that somebody else isn't going to do it, that this idea is a beautiful idea to grow, and so see where it goes. I saw the students very regularly, not really formally, I guess, because they're required to spend a certain amount of time in the Mesa Center. So I saw them and they just naturally were together. And so I would see them like 2, 3 times a week, just checking in on their progress. I gave them milestones. I said, okay, go do some research on different ways that people are doing pap smears and different type of tests and then come back to me. And I would give them very kind of task-oriented research goals. I'm like, okay, you got this element, come back. And they continued to do it. And I told them I wasn't going to sign off on mentorship until they were like doing the work. So they were like doing the work for me. And then eventually it was like, all right, we got something here. So it was just like this kind of back and forth group with them. But again, this was not like, this was a group that came together on their own. And so they were very self-motivated. But just they would get kind of bummed out sometimes. Oh, maybe we shouldn't do it. Maybe we don't have such a unique idea or whatever. Just keep pushing them to let us hear their voices and encouraging them to do that.
And I think that's something we hear from the students themselves in terms of that it helps them find their voice, realize they have a voice. It is a confidence builder, and it builds those communication strategic, that they're able to engage with others and communicate their ideas, so that those skills that transcend as well. In addition to the work you've done with them, and just mentioning, we are in the process of finalizing a Vet Your Idea session, which is designed for the students. We're targeting February 26th. We host this in collaboration with Phi Theta Kappa, which is the 2-year honor society. I hope to have that finalized this week. We'll send out that date time to everyone here, as well as advertise it as well. But that's where we have some of our past student participants and a judge from a past competition and an NSF program director. We talk a little bit about the competition. We allow you to pitch your ideas to us, and we don't record that part of the session. But if you want to share, do you think this is a good idea, or am I coming at this the right way? You've got the students who can weigh in, a judge and an NSF program director who can weigh in before you even apply and give you some feedback. So I'll share information on that session. At this time, I did want to see, I'll have Courtney come on and see if there are any questions in chat. So if you have questions of our panelists about the competition, I do see one practical one about can a team have more than 4 members on campus if only 4 students present the team in DC? You can have a larger team on campus. We do see that sometimes where there's a larger group of students involved in the effort, but the team itself at the competition is limited to 2 to 4 students. So, and it is limited that way, just so it's kind of an even playing field, because we wouldn't want 5 and then a pair. It just gets, that's where we've landed over the years of doing this in different iterations. We do know sometimes there are students that are there that are part of the team and can't travel. So that would be one, because it is an expectation. The finalist team members need to be at the boot camp. You have to have at least 2 team members and a faculty or administrative mentor present for it to be a viable team. But yes, you can have other team members. We also get the question on mentors, like there's 2 faculty, we both want to come. 2 faculty are welcome to work with the team at the institution, but unfortunately we can only have 1 be present at the boot camp. And we've also had a situation where the faculty that's working with the team is not able to travel, so someone has stepped in to be the mentor that is there with them. And it's just offered a different set of ears and guidance throughout. So that is allowable as well, as long as there is a campus representative that is supporting the team on site. Courtney, I didn't know if there were other questions in chat for our panelists or that we could address.
No, we have addressed all of them. I think, just looking through now, but yep, I think we have looked at all of them.
Okay, well, if anyone has additional questions, please feel free to put them into chat. Or I think Courtney had put into chat earlier, and was certainly on the screen, that you can email us at ccIC@aacc.nche.edu. I'll probably give you back about 10 minutes to your day. We were looking to do this in about 45, but kept on for an hour just in case we had a ton of questions. So if you've got questions, I see there are a few people who want to speak with me or speak with Courtney and I about the competition. You can email ccic@acc.nche.edu. That goes to both of us. So I'm happy to arrange a time to talk with people about their ideas. So you don't have to wait for that idea vetting session. If you've got something you want to run by us now, feel free. We're happy to engage with you. And I would just like to thank Chris and Jenna so much for being with the teams and supporting this competition on your campuses, and to all of you for your interest in this competition and supporting your students. As I said, it's one of the most rewarding things that we do, engaging with the students and just seeing them really come together as a community and be so supportive throughout the week. And what's grown. And we also, on our website, I have to tout, we have some videos. These groups in 2024, they all allowed themselves to be filmed and have interviews. And so we've got some wonderful footage and some interviews on our website, one on the homepage and a couple on the resource page that really give you a sense of what it looks like at the boot camp. And you'll hear from the students themselves and from some of our mentors. So that's another way to share information and get some information about this program. Well,
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
much.
Yeah,
Well-
you guys do such a great job, and it's the experience of the year for me. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's
Okay,
because of
beautiful.
people like you that make it for us as well. So thank you. So again, anyone, please reach out with questions. We're happy to address. Thank you again, Chris and Jana. I know everybody's running to meetings and Tilla Talk is already off, but thank you
You're
all.
welcome to find me
Have a
on LinkedIn
wonderful-
or anything. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good to see you, Chris.